Hey guys, welcome back to another Facebook Live broadcast. My name is Sarah King. I'm a Parkinson's physical therapist and founder of Invigorate Physical Therapy and Wellness here in Austin, Texas. And today I want to talk to you about something that is really common in the Parkinson's community, which is anxiety. So I think you have all probably heard the phrase, mindset is everything. And I know you understand the truth of that statement, but sometimes it's really hard to find the right mindset. I'm not sure if you can relate to that, but you know that you maybe should have a positive mindset. Positive mindset is everything, but sometimes it's hard to really figure out how to get past this overwhelming feeling of stress, of anxiety, just this little feeling of fear inside your chest. At any point, if any of this resonates, just give me a big thumbs up so I know that this is something that is real to you. Because today, I want to really emphasize that over the time that I've spent working with people in the Parkinson's community, I've worked with hundreds of people in person, thousands of people online, and I've found one thing is incredibly common. That people who struggle the most with stress, fear, and anxiety have the hardest time. So, the challenge is that knowing that being overwhelmed and anxious, knowing that that has a negative impact on your prognosis actually makes your symptoms of anxiety and stress worse. So there's this cyclical mindset shift that happens that once you get anxious, anxious isn't good for you, and then you start to go down this spiral. So it's not really as simple as saying get over it or turn it off. Just don't be anxious, just be positive. I don't know if you've heard that from some of your most well-intended loved ones who have just said, you know what, buck up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, just think positive and you'll be fine. And you just want to strangle them. It's like, I can't just change the way that I'm thinking. So today I want to share with you something really interesting that I found in the research that combines two techniques. I'm going to call them the dynamic duo today. Two techniques that can actually help you shift your anxiety levels and your stress levels so that you can calm yourself down and actually start shifting the way that you feel on a day-to-day basis. So before I dive into those two things, if you just go ahead and let me know that you're here, put your comments in the comment section below. Who are you? Where are you tuning in from? What is your biggest challenge with feeling stressed and anxious? Share your tools, even if they're different than mine. I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section below. And this is going to be a brief overview of these two techniques. And so if you want to dive deeper into them, I actually wrote an entire blog post on the topic that's linked either, depending on where you're watching us, above or to the side of this video. And a complete blog post that really outlines more in depth these strategies, and there are free downloadable goodies in that blog post as well. So we'll get to exactly what those downloadables are and in a few minutes here. Okay, I have to say hi. It looks like Sandy's here. So funny, Sandy. Roger, as always, welcome back, Roger. Susan, Asher, love you guys from South Carolina. Welcome back. Always good to see you guys in here. So before I give you the two strategies, I just want to know, give me a thumbs up or a sad face or an angry face if you struggle on a daily basis with feelings of anxiety or stress or worry or feeling overwhelmed. And I only ask you to do that mainly because I want other people to realize they're not alone when they have these feelings. It can be hard to acknowledge that you are having a tough time, but if you are, and other people are as well, I think anxiety and stress and fear is one of those things that people don't like to acknowledge because they think that they're the only one. So I just want mainly to show people that they're not the only people. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. You're not alone. And so there are ways to help shift that mindset, and it's a daily practice. So it doesn't happen overnight, like a lot of great things don't. So I want to encourage you to take these strategies and put them in practice for the next 30 days, or maybe even just try them out for 2 weeks. You know, it's holiday season. I'm sure that you guys are feeling a little bit of the stress, a little bit of the strain. So these are strategies that you can use for the next few weeks to see if you can start calming that crazy mind of yours. And I wasn't going to share this, but I feel inclined to. I actually used to suffer from anxiety attacks. And you can ask my husband, I would have anxiety attacks and I would have to be walked around the block. I would come home, I would have a meltdown, and my husband would have to take me and walk me outside until I calmed down. So I'm not just preaching this, I actually practice this dynamic duo myself, and it has significantly changed the way that I feel on a daily basis. So I want to let you know that I am definitely, I understand where you're coming from. So let's chat about the two. So the research suggests, and the link is in my blog, you can go read the research. The research suggests that the best way to combat feelings of stress, anxiety, and overwhelm are actually to combine stress, or to combine exercise with meditation. So there was a study in translational psychiatry. When you combine these two, people have significant reduction, up to 40% of their depressive symptoms, less rumination over bad thoughts, increased attention, and concentration. So today I'm going to talk to you about why these two elements, exercise and meditation, are so powerful. And I don't want you to run away after we talk about exercise. Meditation may not be what you think. So exercise is our number one anxiety combating tool. You can't be surprised. I'm a physical therapist. The research suggests that exercise is one of the best things that you could possibly be doing for your Parkinson's symptoms. Vigorous exercise on a daily basis. And unlike medication, exercise is the only modality shown to slow progression of Parkinson's symptoms over time. Medication may mask your symptoms now, but it doesn't actually slow the progression of the disease. So it can also be a really powerful way to decrease anxiety in the short term and in the long run. So there are many reasons why stress brings down, or exercise brings down your stress levels, but I just want to illustrate it with this one point, which is when you're stressed, your body's fight or flight system is activated. So that's our primal instinct to either fight or run away from a perceived threat. And when your fight or flight response kicks in, you have a bunch of hormones flooding through your system, and they're designed to help you move. Fight or flight. There's now fight, flight, or freeze. That seems to be a common one too, but your body has these hormones and these chemicals that are activated that are telling your body you need to move. And so when you are stressed, but you're not exercising regularly and vigorously, like you're running away from a lion, then your body doesn't have anywhere to put these chemicals, and they just circulate in your body. And so exercising when you're feeling stressed can actually help you alleviate the feelings of stress. So the next time you're in a stressful situation, you're feeling overwhelmed, I want to challenge you to take a vigorous walk around the block. Do a 15-minute Parkinson's exercise circuit in your living room. Hop on your exercise bike and do a couple intervals to really just let that energy go somewhere so it doesn't ruminate, it doesn't circulate, and it doesn't just sit. And there are plenty of ways for you to get your exercise. If you're looking for a Parkinson-specific exercise program, I have a free 30-day challenge. If you just need help getting moving, you really don't know what to do, I designed a 30-day challenge. Many of you have probably participated. That's a great start. There are all kinds of exercise videos on YouTube. If you're looking for some really specific guidance, I have an online program called the Booster Program. It's a 5-week program. A lot of you who are watching, I can see, are in the Booster Program. So you guys can attest that exercising regularly it's going to help your anxiety levels and your stress levels. So we'll make sure to put those comments or those links in the comment section or above this video, depending on when you're watching it. But just getting started with an exercise program, just get moving. That's the number one way to help you bring down your anxiety, bring down your stress levels. And it may seem like you're so stressed out that you're so tired and you can't do it. I promise you, just get past the 2-week mark of exercise into your 3 weeks and you will significantly feel a difference. So that is our exercise. Anxiety is number one in combating, exercise is number one in combating anxiety. I'm having a rough time today. So if you guys are exercising, I'd love to see a thumbs up. I know a lot of you are that are watching. If you're exercising regularly, thumbs up. If you need help getting moving, join our challenge. It's free, and I would love to help you start combating anxiety immediately. Okay, let's head on to anxiety fighter number 2, which is meditation. So don't run away from this, all right? Meditation may not be what you think it is. And meditation is not associated with any specific religion and doesn't necessarily have to be done sitting cross-legged. Meditation is simply time spent in increased awareness of your thoughts in the present moment. So I'll read that again. It is simply time spent in increased awareness of your thoughts in the present moment. So some of you may paint, and that is bringing your thoughts in line with the present moment, your brushes on the canvas. Maybe some of you draw. I know we have a couple artists in here. Maybe some of you play an instrument. Meditation is simply bringing your awareness 100% into the present moment. So when you're observing your thoughts in the present moment, that's actually really powerful when it comes to combating your anxiety. And here's why. Your thoughts draw up emotions, and then your emotions trigger a physiological response in your body. So I want to illustrate this with a really quick activity. So we're going to think of a thought, it's going to draw up some emotions, and then we're going to see how it impacts your body. So this week, or maybe this weekend, did you have a stressful situation? What's the last stressful situation you came in, you remember in the last week? Maybe you found out that you're going to have to pay higher taxes than you thought you would be, just drawing from my personal experience. TMI, too much information for you guys. But so in the last week, something stressful, you got a notification in the mail that you had this huge chunk of sum of money due. Maybe it's a medical bill. And immediately you start having thoughts race through your head. Your heart rate starts elevating. You start sweating. Maybe you even kind of collapse down and get small. Your breathing slows. So you had a thought that triggered an emotion of fear, anxiety, or stress, and then your body responded in a negative way. If we flip that and think, what's the best thing that's happened to you in the last week? I think of going for a hike with my husband. So we had a great hike that makes me super happy. I start to even smile, sit up straighter. I feel calmer. This is a great example of what happens when our thoughts trigger our emotions, and those emotions affect our stress levels and affect our body. So most of you could probably relate and know that when you're stressed and anxious, your Parkinson symptoms are worse. Your freezing is worse, your walking is worse, maybe your tremor is worse. And so it's really important, and that's just provoking more anxiety, right? You're worried that your Parkinson's is progressing, you're worried about the future, that whole thing. You start to snowball, which is very familiar to me. I'm a professional snowballer of thoughts. Okay, so when I say we need to combat anxiety with meditation, meditation really is bringing you back to your awareness of your thoughts. And most of the time, thoughts that are provoking anxiety are born out of fear. So fear is the birthplace of anxiety. Fear is normal, right? Fear is something that we all experience and has its place. But sometimes when fear goes unchecked, our anxiety also skyrockets. So we need to get to the origin of that fear, which is our thoughts. So I watched a great webinar not too long ago by the APDA where they talk about red flag thinking patterns. And I outlined this in the blog post again, so you don't have to take a lot of notes here. You can go to the blog post, and that's linked above or to the side of this video, depending on where you're at. That outlines some red flag thinking, that you may be stuck in a thinking pattern without even knowing it. And when you're having those thoughts, you're provoking anxiety in yourself, and your stress levels just skyrocket, and you start to deteriorate. So we want to actually change those thoughts, because the thoughts you're having may feel very real to you, but they may not be true. They may not be actually what's happening in reality. And this happens to all of us, whether it's Parkinson's or not. What we think about our reality feels very real to us, but it may not be true. So I want to give you an example of a few red flag thought patterns that may be triggering your fearful mindset. Feel free to ask questions in the comment section below if I'm going too quickly. But here are some examples of red flag thoughts. The first one is mind reading. So mind reading something would sound like, my partner's symptoms make my friends uncomfortable. That's you acting like you can read other people's minds. Something that I hear often from my clients are, I don't want to go out to restaurants because if people will see my tremor when I eat and think that I'm sick. That's one that I hear a lot. If you can relate, or what's a thought that maybe you have of a mind reading situation where you assume you know what other people are thinking. So that's one type of red flag thought. Another type of red flag thought is labeling. And labeling sounds like, because I can't walk to the buffet to get my own food, I'm useless. So I am useless. That's labeling yourself. I am sick. I am worthless. I am, whatever that label is that's negative, that's an example of a red flag thought. Okay? Another one is blaming. And this goes for a person with Parkinson's or caregivers or a normal person, but a red flag thought over blaming might be, I can't exercise because I have Parkinson's, or I can't do this because I have Parkinson's. Parkinson's is ruining my life, which feels very real, but you are in more control than you think, so it may not be as true as you think. And then another example of a red flag thought would be personalizing. So my spouse was grumpy last night because my Parkinson's is too much for her to handle. That's making everything really, really personal to yourself. And so these are just examples of some red flag thought patterns. If you go to the blog, there's a printable PDF document that you can download that'll outline the red flag thinking pattern, so you can go through and identify which of those you might be having, because until you're aware of the thought patterns that you're in, you can't rewrite your script. And also I should say, well, if you're doing this and there are a lot of really heavy thoughts that are coming up for you, I highly suggest that you reach out to a professional, some type of therapist that you can just talk through a lot of these thoughts with. Going to therapy can really, really help you dig underneath these anxious thought patterns and figure out how to rewrite them. So if you're really struggling, please reach out because it can be really, really beneficial. Okay, so if any of those resonated with you, you can give me a thumbs up, but we're getting to the heart of our fear, which is our thoughts. So when we are aware of our thoughts, we can start to evaluate them and dump them if they're not serving us anymore. And a lot of our thoughts that are making us anxious and making us worried are not serving us. And so when you're rewriting your thoughts, it's important to have a system. And so what I've done is actually record for you guys a 7-phase reflection meditation. And it's a combination of methods that I've learned from other meditation practitioners, but it's an audio recording that I recorded that you can download to your computer completely for free. It's on the blog. You can go over there and download it. You just put your headphones in and hit play on the recording, and it'll walk you through a 7-phase reflection meditation that'll help you get into a state of mind of peace and clarity, observe your thoughts, and start to process them and rewrite them. Because until we rewrite those anxious, fearful thoughts, our anxiety is going to hold itself. It's just going to cling on to you for life or death. Doesn't even matter how much exercise you do. If you are exercising and you're still feeling anxious, this is the key to helping you overcome your anxiety. And again, with the help of a professional is always recommended because this can get a bit heavy. So I want to encourage you to go to the blog and download the meditation. But I will walk you through the 7 phases without the description, a real in-depth description. I'll just tell you the 7 phases so you have an idea of what you're getting yourself into. And the first few phases will be with your eyes closed, and then the last few phases will be with your eyes open. You don't have to do that right now, but it's really important as you're rewriting your thoughts to go through these 7 phases. So the first phase is just sitting in a state of joy and peace. So you are sitting for just a few seconds, maybe even a minute, bringing in positive thoughts, bringing in thoughts of your family, bringing in thoughts of sunsets and travels, and trying to really lasso that warm, happy feeling. And then you dive into phase 2, where you start to shift and observe the anxious thoughts. So you start to feel those feelings around the anxiety. This is actually a really important phase because most of us just run away from anxiety and stress and fear. And I am totally guilty of that 110%. But in order to heal it, you have to feel it. So I promise it may be a little scary, again, to sit with those feelings that you're having, those red thought patterns, and just be with them and listen to them so that they can feel acknowledged and then eventually dissipate. After you feel your feelings, you shift into phase 3, where you really practice your self-love. So you give yourself some love. I wrote a short little saying or prayer or affirmation, whatever you want to call it. It's on the blog. It's part of the meditation, to just really tell your body and tell your soul that you are there for it, you love it, you want it to heal and the best for it, and you're bringing in as many healing vibes as you can. So give yourself some self-love. So we've dug into these feelings, we've created a healthy, safe space for you to feel the feelings, and then we go into phase 4, which is naming that fear. So we'll pull up red flag thinking patterns and pick out which one of these. Am I blaming? Am I personalizing? Am I catastrophizing? Which of our thoughts, which category do our anxious thoughts fall into? So we categorize it and name it. We reflect on it, is phase 5, reflecting on that, reflecting objectively. Is it true that, my wife is upset with me because I have Parkinson's? And your ego may say, yes, she is, but really when you reflect objectively, the answer is maybe not as true as you think it is. Okay? After you're reflecting, and this can be done in a journal, it can be done just speaking maybe into a recording or just in your mind, but journaling, if you can, is really helpful. Even if you can't read it, you don't have to go back and read it later, just write it out. After you reflect and write it out, phase 6 is reframing your belief. So you acknowledge the negative feeling you have and counter it with a realistic response where you highlight and emphasize the positive. And this may seem really woo-woo, this may seem really forced at first, and it will. It will be forced at first because your body's not used to having a positive spin on this anxious thought that you've been having forever. But go through the motions. Just because I'm feeling overwhelmed doesn't mean that I can't positively impact my symptoms with exercise. There's a better example on the blog, but there's a fill in the blank statement on the blog for you to use to reframe your negative belief. And then phase 7 is reinforcing your intention. So I'll walk you through how to combine that feeling of joy with your new empowering belief so that you can start to really shift your mindset. So that is the 7-phase meditation. I highly encourage you to go download it. Again, it's free. You don't even have to give me your email address. It's just there for you to have. And hopefully you can start to feel the feelings of anxiety, stress, and overwhelm start to dissipate. And something I really want to emphasize, which is something I learned from a wonderful meditation and mindfulness guru, is that your anxiety, you may just say, I am an anxious person. That's your identity. I am an anxious person. I am a stressed person. I am an overwhelmed person. And I want to tell you right now, your state of being as a human being is peace and calm. If you're anxious, you're stressed, you're worried, and that seems to be your normal state, you have actually picked up the habit of being anxious. You have picked up the habit of worrying. You have picked up the habit of being stressed. And that comes from your thoughts. So these thoughts may be so ingrained in your brain that they feel permanent. But I promise you, and so it'll take some work to start to pave a new path in your brain as far as your thought process goes. But I promise you, every single person has a brain that's plastic and can learn a new way to think. And you don't have to be anxious. You can actually look at the world and see it as full of freedom and possibility. And it may seem really far-fetched for you right now, but I promise that you can get there. So I want to reiterate, it is not you. You are not your anxiety. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts, even though they feel very, very real to you now. So those are our 2 tools. And for the best results, you need to be pairing, again, exercise with this meditation piece, this mindset piece. So I am so passionate about this that I want to help you do all of this for free. And if you've been around my community long enough, you know that I love to give away stuff for free. So if you go to the blog, you will see a link to our free 30-day Parkinson's Movement Challenge. If you haven't done the Movement Challenge yet and you're looking to get moving, it's free. You download it. You get a starter kit from me with an exercise PDF, links to exercise videos, and motivational emails from me to help you get moving, to start bringing your anxiety levels down. And you can combine it with this 7-phase reflection meditation. So for the next 30 days, when you're doing the challenge and you're doing the meditation, you can do all of these things together and really start shifting the way that you feel about your life and your diagnosis. And there are no strings attached. It's for you, for free, so there is no reason for you to not start shifting your mindset. And the reason I'm so passionate about it is because it is a challenge I see in my practice every day, and I just want you all to know that you are not anxious, your thoughts are anxious, and you can make a serious impact on your diagnosis with these 2 powerful tools. So you can go to the blog post, it's linked above or to the side, maybe even below this blog post, depending on when and where you're watching it. But go over there, download those free goodies, and let me know how it starts to work for you. Remember, it takes practice, and as Yoda would say, may the force be with you. But I would love to hear how it works for you as you start to become this Jedi mind warrior for your Parkinson's. I would love to hear your results. So you can always send me an email, comment on the blog, comment on YouTube or Facebook. I would love to hear if these strategies are working for you. And if you're already doing these strategies, tell me how it works for you, what you do. Share in the comment section, because a lot of people who are watching may not use this combination and want to hear from people who are out there using it that it actually works. So if you found this presentation beneficial, please like it, share it with anyone you think may benefit or who could go through the challenge with you, who could maybe help you reflect on your anxious thoughts, and don't do it with your family. Highly suggested, don't observe your anxious thoughts with your family. Typically doesn't turn out that well. But a friend, maybe the support group that you go to, please share if you found it beneficial. And I will let you go right now. So if you need anything, just put your comments in the comment section below. Oh, before I sign off, I missed these comments. Larry is in New Jersey, a little extra stress with my spouse in the hospital last week. Oh my goodness. Larry, just thinking about you, sending your wife super positive vibes. Stella's in here. Hi, Sarah. I live on Long Island. I've been to Long Island one time in my life, but I'm so glad you're here. Stella, welcome. Tino, hello from Vegas. As always, Tino, welcome. Nora's in here from Ontario. She wouldn't miss. Welcome, Nora. Barbara from South Carolina. We've got a lot of South Carolinians in here. I love it. Stella says, whenever I feel calm, I feel as if I've been cured. Oh my gosh, that gives me goosebumps. My walk is great and I do a lot. However, when I'm stressed or anxious, it's hard for me to move. And that is just the pure example of how we need to combat stress in every way. Medication is not going to do that for us. That is slowing the progression of your Parkinson's disease. It's helping you live a vital, vibrant life. I'm so happy to hear that it works for you, Stella. That's wonderful. Let's see. Danny from Minnesota. Sally's in here. Welcome back, Sally. From, let's see, we've got Lisa Shaw from Oregon. Colin says, is the couch still available? I'm not sure if you're in the right place, Colin. Don't be on the couch. Oh, this is where the couch auction is? Nope, no couch auction here. Mammy is in here. Joanne from Ohio. Richard from Alabama. Let's see. Mammy says, I do it before I go to sleep and laying in bed and just taking time out during the day. It's beautiful. It's a great time to do it. Let's see. Susan says, we are watching the sunset on the beach right now. Very relaxing. That's a great way. Hi, guys. We're done with the content part. I'm just saying hi. So if you want to say hi, I'm just going to do little shout outs. But if you want to hop off here, I'm not going to give anything like crazy away for free at the end, but I love that you guys are all still tuning in. If you want to say hi, I will sit here and say hi as long as you're here. Great, Marlene says, great listening to you and giving us great advice. Thank you, Sarah. So happy that you're here. Marlene, I'm so happy to do it. Let's see. Susan says, should we say something up front to someone? I don't know what that was in reference to. Susan, sometimes I feel a little embarrassed when I'm out in public with my husband in a restaurant, etc. I'm still adjusting to this new role. Susan, thank you for sharing that. That is very common, to just not know how you're supposed to feel around this new diagnosis. So I always encourage caregivers, care partners, and their, the person who's been diagnosed with Parkinson's to go see a therapist separately or go to their own support group so that you can share those types of things and get feedback. It is an adjustment, and I guarantee you that it feels like the whole restaurant is staring at you, but I guarantee you that nobody is paying attention. And if they are, you know what? You're more than entitled to give them the death stare and protect your family. I give you total permission to do that. Danny says, I'm a little different. I don't care much if someone sees my tremors. I just go about my business. Yeah, I love that. Who cares? Nobody is caring. You do care, and that's fair. Let's see. Connie says hi. Hi, Connie. Rolo. Carolyn is tagging people. Thank you so much for sharing. Beverly from Kingwood, Texas. Hi, guys. John DeBlasi from Woldridge, Missouri. I'm from Missouri, Kansas City native. We just went there for Thanksgiving. Roger says yes. Thank you. Oh, you guys are so welcome. Sandy, thanks, Sarah. Always inspiring. You guys are so great. Mammy says, I've been doing meditation for over a year. It takes time. It does take time. I've been doing meditation for my anxiety for over 4 years now, actually. It's been a while, and it does take time, and I still struggle with it. And you know what? Meditation is not meant to turn your brain off. I've been meditating for a long time, and my brain is never quiet. So that's not the goal. It's to observe your thoughts so that you can process them and have a better outcome, really. Let's see. Lisa says, thank you. You're so welcome, Lisa. Mary Ann says, how can I watch this? Once I'm done, the replay will be on Facebook and on YouTube, Mary Ann. So let's see. Power for Parkinson's. Hello. Welcome, Nina or Susan, I'm assuming. Power for Parkinson's here in Austin, Texas. That's a great nonprofit. If you're in Austin, check them out. As always, Ron is in here. Roger's in here as always. Ron is from Wisconsin. Welcome, Ron. Looks like you're a bike rider from what I can see on your picture there. That's awesome exercise right there. Can also be great meditation, depending on how you're using it. Okay, without further ado, I'm signing off. I'm so grateful for you guys, sending you lots of big hugs, and until we meet again, keep moving. Bye.